Hi, this is Muhammad. Today I'm going to demonstrate how we can create a VMSS virtual machine skill set with the load balancer. So before creating this thing, I would like to share one image with you. Normally, we have a virtual machine skill set in a subnet of a virtual network, and we'll include a load balancer with this VMS, and this load balancer have ability to take accept traffic from internet and then forward it to the VMSS. Uh, so we'll create these resources, and after creating these resources, we'll include services like IIS services on VMSS uh, machines, and then we'll use a public IP address of this VMSS, and we can see that our load balancer can drive traffic in different virtual machine of this virtual machine skill sets. So let's do it. For that reason, we need to create a login on the portal at first, portal.azure.com, and then first I create a resource group. Yeah, click resource group, and then start creating. I gave this resource group name like today is 23rd June, so 23rd resource group, and it's in the Sweden Central region, and create, and then go back to the dashboard and start creating a virtual network. For that reason, I need to go virtual network and then click create, like start, pick up the resource group first and then give a name of 23rd VNet as a virtual network name. Now give the IP address. I leave this as default, and I can keep this subnet, but maybe we can create the new one. I remove this one, add a new subnet. Name is a subnet 1 with an IP 10.0.1.0/24, and then add, and then yeah, start creating, and validation has been passed, so we start creating the virtual network with the subnet 1. It might take 1 minute to create this resource, so we're on the way of development of these resources by Azure. You have to wait a while after creating. Yeah, it's done. Go to the resources, and then we can see the overview of this virtual network. This IP address is here. And if I go to the subnet, I can see the subnet is also available here with the subnet number 1. And then I go back to the dashboard with home. Now I start creating virtual machine skill set with the load balancer, of course. Now virtual machine skill set, and then start creating one. Here are some steps here. We have to pick up the resource group at first, and then give a name like 23rd VMSS LB with load balancer. That's right. I give this name. and pick up the availability zone 1 and 2, for example. It means it will create one machine in zone 1 and the next one in zone 2, and if required more, then next 1 and 2 accordingly of this Azure availability zone. And this orchestration mode flexible, I keep as it is, and the security type normal standard. I keep the images of Windows 16, Data Center Server version 2, and I give a name like username and password for future login on these machines. And then next spot, I have nothing to do here. Disk, I leave as it is. And networking, I pick up my virtual network, that is 23rd VNet. And I need to upgrade this subnet configuration a little bit because we need to allow public traffic some reason for RDP and HTTP. So we pick up this HTTP and RDP port open, then OK. And load balancing option is also underneath there. There is no load balancer here, so I need to create a load balancer which support the TCP/IP network traffic and port forwarding and outbound flow. Just start, click load balancer, and then we will see it will ask for load balancer name. We give a name like 23rd LB. 23rd LB load balancer is a public centric load balancer with the protocol of TCP and rules, and leave the port 80 open and start creating. And then scaling, I can do scaling policy, customization. I think what we can make changes here, we can see in my previous video, but for this time being, I leave this manual, so it will be by default. Scaling policy will be applied here. The management option, I just leave this boot diagnostic disable, and health probe and advanced and tab, I leave as it is. Then wait for the validation has been passed. So start creating this one with load balancer. So it might take 2-3 minutes to deploy these resources. Deployment is in progress. So when it's done, we'll check the instances with IPs and the load balancer. Then we'll start establishing connection with RDP with the virtual machine instances, and then we'll install the web services, at least two of the instances of the VMSS, and then we'll copy the public IP address of this VMSS, and then we'll see how it's going on. How do you react for the traffic, and how load balancer negotiate the traffic for redirecting on different resources of the VMSS. So if we go, it has been done. So if you go to the resources, we can see the overview of the VMSS. I give this VMSS name as 23rd VMSS LB, and it's on resource group 23RG. It has a public IP address, and if I go to the instances, we can see there is 2 instances because our initial instances is number 2. So when the VMSS is started, it will start with 2 and it will increase or decrease accordingly to the load of the traffic. So we go back home and then we find the load balancer, and we'll find the load balancer name here. And we can see the overview of the load balancer. And then we can see the front-end IP also available for this load balancer, because while it creates, we allow to create this with public IP and other rules. Backend pool. Yeah, we can see the backend pool here. Here is the backend pool with the refresh options. Here, our what is called in backend pool, our two instances of virtual machine, which part of the VMSS also included here, and it's running. Now we go back home and we click on the virtual machine skill set and instances and instances name, and copy the public IP address and make RDP of this one. Paste this, connect, and give the username and password. It's try to connect. Yes, I set the security certificate and it will connect to the virtual machine. It might take a few minutes because it's running for the first time. So we have to wait a little. So it's checking the inventory of different configuration of this server. So accept the network discoverable message, say yes. And this server is almost running properly, and the server manager is also start running. Now we are going to install IIS services on this server. We can see the public IP address here. It means it's the right machine we are logged in, like here 20.91.241.55. You can see this here. So add roles and feature from the server manager. Sometimes we need to wait for a while, because sometimes the server manager inventory takes a little bit longer. You can see some changes here. Now the server manager roles and features, its wizard comes up. I click next, and the role-based feature installation. Click next, and then select this with next. And now I'm looking for the IIS. Where is that? IIS web services. IIS, and the net feature, and the next, and yeah. Now install. So it starts installing the IIS on the first instance of the VMSS. So we'll see the effect of these instances after installing this IIS on it. So it might take a few minutes to install this thing. So we have to wait until it has been done. While it's creating this installation, we can mention something about the load balancer. That is, while we create the load balancer, we can see there is some option with the load balancer and application gateway with some session persistence information and timeout options. Well, we create more sophisticated production environment like for banking, for net banking. In that case, we will use that other load balancer. So that will track the specific client and its session for some transaction or something very sophisticated uh, verification method, and so that is far more precise persistence uh, persistency for a session related to the load balancer. So in maybe in near future, I'll create more sophisticated load balancing example video with some VMSS. So this has been done. So click this close, and then now we can browse on downside. I may just for the timing, I is that yeah, I make it enlarged now. I'm on the virtual machine right now, and here we can see some information of IIS here, like just waiting for a little while. Ask me later. I leave this open and see the IIS feature has been installed in the C drive, Windows C, and inet pub, and then www root. I just change a little on this one. This file, edit. I just put one star like something like this, and give a text box inside that, like white color, name server 1, and make it white. Anyway, doesn't matter. The server 1, I close this and save it, and then open this instances here. Now the web server page of this machine looks like this, but we'll check it with the public IP and close this all tab, and then close this one and close this session. Yeah, and now close this one and okay, and go back to the portal. Now I go back to the portal and I pick up the second instance now. and do the same thing on the second instance. Copy the public IP address and then go back to the remote desktop connection and then paste it and connect, and it will ask for the username and password for this instance. Same username and password will work here because we're on the skill set. So same username and password can be used for connecting this machine as well. Now this one also the same way, it's connecting for the first time. You can see the different IP address and which is second instance public IP. Just enlarge this thing and wait for the server notification message, the discoverable message here. As you see, yes, and now the server manager start running for its inventory. So I have to wait a little for this inventory has been done. So this inventory is almost done. Then click add roles and features. And then still not done. So we still wait a while, just refresh this thing and wait 30 seconds more. Then we'll try again. Yeah, I think it's ready, almost ready. Then click start role and feature. Apple wizard has been popped up. And now click on the installation role based feature. And then pick up the machine already in there. The next, and then the web server. Add feature, and the next, and install. I'm not doing too much with the configuration, just to do the default one, just to demonstrate that it can reach different machine. For as load balancer is included in this scenario. So this also might take 1 or 2 minutes to install the features of this IaaS on this second instance of the VMSS. After creating these instances and making changes to the website, we'll use the public IP and see the effect of this installation successful, and then close and close the server manager. Now I go back and find this PC and Windows C and init path www change on this file, edit and make it change with this and change and color and this one and says server 2 just to show, and then save this one and then click on open this one, and we'll see this web page should look like this from server 2 when it pops up. Ask me later like this. I close this one and close this The web server page should be look like this if it hits this server 2. Now close this one and close this session. Now close this session and use the VMSS. And when you go to the VMSS, I can see the overview and pick up this IP address of the VMSS and copy that one and open a new tab and paste it on my web browser and see. Now it arrives on server 1. If I refresh, it will still on server 1. Still on server 1. But if I open a new window in incognito mode and let's see how it's reacting. Paste this IP address. Now you can see it hits on server 2. If I minimize this one, it hits on server 2 in incognito mode, and in the regular one it hits on server 1. So if we do the same thing on different browser, we can see that it will arrive on different server. As this load balancer have some policies and rules what with this VMSS. So in some situation, if the load of the VMSS increased and more instances has been created, then load balancer will distribute the traffic in different machines. So in that way, we can confirm that load balancer and VMSS can work together in production environment. Thanks for watching.